Represento las calles de mi tierra. Mi bandera, ay, mi bandera. Puerto Rico y todos los latinos. Sonamos donde quiera.
What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday to everyone that's watching us here on the Sports Jedi Network, Sports Jedi Network media channel. Hope everyone's doing well. We're going to talk a whole entire week of pro wrestling. We got a lot of different things on tap. First and foremost, let's bring my partner, my co-host, the one and only from Hershey, Pennsylvania, the one and only PGH Chris, doing a hell of a video of a Steelers, by the way, on Thursday. I want to compliment you on that.
I appreciate it, man. I just wanted to get, I got some footage. I did watch the game until a little bit of I watched the whole game, but I watched a little bit of the halftime. Making some videos here. Obviously, not the outcome I wanted at the end, but it was fun. After this, I will be recording my review here on the Sports Jedi Network. As you guys, seen me a couple times. Wrestling has been busy. So bear with me. But yes, a review on that game will be on. I will be recording and it'll be on soon. But yes, it was fun. I'm excited to be here for our weekly wrestling. No one's doing it on Saturday afternoons like me and Kev over here. So we're excited to be here. Not too much happening in the week. We had a good, Bound for Glory last week. Some good stuff. We got a PLE or a pay-per-view tonight. So we'll get into some things here that's crossing some minds. I know Smackdown was last night. A lot of controversy here. So let's get into it.
I know, of course, for those you know us, we are Latino. We are Latino wrestlers with voices. So we are. Yes. So what to let you know, tenemos una descarga. We have una tremenda descarga. We have a what we call a assault or a rant coming up. But first and foremost, thank you for hit that like, subscribe, and share. You can follow us on our playback channel as well, Playback TV, where we actually do our watch-alongs. And we've been doing it lately on YouTube as well, but you could actually see the watch-alongs on our playback with us. So join us there. And of course, we're gonna this week. What to me, I feel a little different. I have good, bad, and ugly. To me, the wrestling week was good, bad, and ugly. Speedy Clips, what's going on? I don't think we're gonna do the WrestleDream tonight because financially I can't afford the $49.99 to pay for the pay-per-view to stream it on the playback. So that's the reason why. I'm gonna be totally honest. Voy a ser honesto contigo. Be honest with you. If I had them, I would have done it on the playback and I would have done the WrestleDream watch along. I don't have the means of watching it. That's the work has been for us a little slight tight. That's why, you see that QR code there. You could buy us a cup of coffee. That's a way to support the channel. Super chats. We don't like to push the financial aspect because I think everyone is going through the same thing we're going through. Times are tough. And if you guys want to donate, if you could afford it, you can. We don't push it because we walk in the same shoes as you guys. We do this content creating because we have fun. We love the art of wrestling. We love the sport of all sports, wrestling, basketball, all the major sports. We love to talk about it and cover it. This is not our mean of our income. We do this for the fun. So we have a 9 to 5, me and Chris, but right now things are super slow. And I mean, the economy and everything, but this is a whole nother, we didn't even think about speaking about that. Things are really tight and stuff. So we would have loved to bring that to you guys and watch along and celebrate WrestleDream. So let me not go on with that long rant. Thank you for allowing me to speak on that and at least speak for my I get that off of my chest. Let me go right into the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's go backwards. Normally I like to go to Monday Night Raw, bring all that. I can't hold no more. I can't. Chris, I can't take this no more.
Let's go, man. I know we talked a little bit about it, off air, so go at it.
Wrestling, listen, once again, I'm going to say this with a lot of love. Wrestling isn't catered for me. WWE, TNA, AEW, professional wrestling, they don't book and create the shows for me. For this man here that's sitting there, oh, let's do this because we got to make that guy happy. It's not. It's what they think is best for business. But I can't turn the other cheek. And especially when we had a great moment on Sunday on Bound for Glory. And then come this Friday night SmackDown. Where and again and this is the hypocritical. I'm like want to go for so many places. I'm all over the place because I'm a little trying to channel my anger. There's this guy who gets hurt all the fucking time all right, and Ilya Dragunov, who psychology-wise, all he does is, I don't like his matches. I seen him in NXT 2.0. I seen him in NXT UK. I've seen him now in the main roster. The guy goes in there, he gets hurt. I mean, count how many times this guy's been injured? He comes back, has a match with Sami Zayn, and you put on the United States World title on him. But meanwhile, you got guys that don't get hurt, who's eating shit in the locker room, like a Carmelo Hayes, who, and by the way, he carried the NXT brand as world champion. If you listen to the crowd, the Mellow chants, you have him go out there, you feed him as sacrificial lamb to Cody Rhodes his first night. Okay, well, they're gonna make him a star. They haven't. He's running around playing pussyfoot with the Miz. Where could we get that finally paid off and move on for Carmelo? You couldn't give Carmelo Hayes an opportunity as United States World Champion. Jimmy Uso again, one of the Bloodline members. You leapfrogged him for Sami Zayn. No Jimmy Uso as United States World Champion. Do you blame? And this is all tied in because it's funny because it's going to sound like we're going all over the place. Do you blame Santo Escobar for pulling what he did? I don't like the creative. I don't want to resign here, but he came back. He's frustrated. If you're Santo Escobar, by the way, they took Santo. It's okay to bring Santo Escobar out to WrestleMania 39's press conference along with Lola Vice to Los Angeles because let's get the Mexicans to buy the tickets to WrestleMania. Let's put a Latino and a Latina out there. But meanwhile, you couldn't have him a sniff at the United States Open Challenge. But you bring Ilya Dragunov, who's been hurt, who's not even a SmackDown wrestler. He's a Monday Night Raw guy. Last we saw him to come out of nowhere. Come on, man. Come on, bro. ¿Por qué? Why? What are the other comments? Why? Because they got a little darkness in their skin color. And I didn't want to believe MVP's fucking stupidity about Triple H seeing, he likes, if it's white, it's nice. But I'm starting to look at that the way he's fucking booking our gente. What the hell is going on here? Do you blame Andrade getting frustrated and won out? Do you blame Andrade not want to be there? But this dude comes out of nowhere. He gets a title. I mean, come on, Chris. I got more, but I got to let you speak.
No, I agree. Before you got more, because there's a lot with this. I don't understand just the basic psychology of somebody being gone for over a year from your job and getting a fucking promotion. That's essentially what this is. I'm not saying this was a bad match. This was a fine match. We're not saying that. It's the fact that you have a guy like Carmelo Hayes, and I didn't even know when we talked about this off air. I'm happy we felt the same way, and we said Carmelo Hayes in specific because this is a guy who was your number one pick in the draft, in your stupid little fucking draft that WWE likes to do to make us think that these first picks or whatever, these superstars are going to be the leaders of their brand, whatever. The point is, like you said, you had him doing jack shit with the Miz. You didn't even do anything. Not even a payout came out of that. They just broke him up. You didn't let the Miz put him over in this big main event match. Hell, I'm not giving shit to Rusev and Sheamus, but you gave Rusev and Sheamus a PLE match and not Miz and Melo. And I compare that because they're two mediocre storylines on the card that nobody really cares about, but there's one person in that feud that could get over that people like. Carmelo Hayes is that person in this scenario because the Miz has had his time, whatever. They're just not doing anything with Carmelo Hayes. And now that Ilya's back, now people are want a refeud or a rematch of their trilogy in NXT. It took Ilya Dragunov to come back for you guys to want to see Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown. Seriously? Why? When Carmelo Hayes is, I'm not even going to say he's 10 times the better wrestler, but he's 10 times the better WWE superstar. When you look at an overall WWE superstar, Carmelo has it way more than Ilya. So I don't understand now why you that's the one thing I'm getting from this that's kind of weird. Now that Carmelo Hayes is or Ilya's back, now people want to see Melo in a big feud, in a big trilogy. That makes no sense to me. No sense to me. That's all I got for now if you want to keep going, because I know you got a lot more.
No, I got more. Here's this. I like the fucking hypocrisy. Sorry for the language. It's going to get colorful. It's going to have a lot of spice. That's why I brought out the blue label in the background, because we're going to need some blue label shots after this, because my goodness, I like the hypocrisy. When a couple months ago on an All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view for Mercedes Moné took on Riho. Remember Riho? We haven't seen her for fucking almost a year. And then JD from New York. Oh, I don't give a shit about this. Why is Riho back? But meanwhile, Ilya Dragunov comes out. Oh, what a banger of a match. That's him. He's fucking sucking the dick like a fucking clown. But meanwhile, I don't give a shit. I don't want to see Riho. But meanwhile, for Ilya, he's there on his knees. You gotta be consistent and equal for both wrestling shows. I didn't like it either for Riho, and I didn't like it for Ilya. You're always talking about stories. I need stories. You gotta tell me some stories. It's about the stories. Where was the story with Ilya Dragunov and because he open challenge? He answered the open challenge. That's a way of giving someone worthy an open challenge. So what's the problem of having Obafemi answer open challenge, who's been carrying that NXT brand? Because let's face it, they ain't shit for him to do in NXT. An elevation would have been perfect for him to show up on the main roster to take on a Sami Zayn or a Trick Williams, or they got other bigger plans, or other wrestlers. Like that's what bro. The perfect opportunity, to be honest with you, who should have won that United States title if they really wanted to take it off of Sami Zayn last night. It should have been Santo fucking Escobar. Why couldn't Santo Escobar show up and open challenge? He's back. You had El Garcias earlier. You could have had Santo Escobar take that title away from Sami Zayn because he's frustrated. He's back. Santos Escobar never got injured. To my knowledge, has Santo Escobar got injured? Yes, listen, at this point, even Tony D'Angelo, who hasn't got injured, who's been a staple wrestler, who's been on television, would have made sense. But not Ilya. He's on Raw. You didn't bring that back. Because everybody has this infatuation. Gunther, Ilya, I can't wait to have that. You're going, okay, that's fine. You have to build to it. Not right away. You have to build to it. You got to get to it. No, now United States title. So what's going to happen? Now you want Gunther versus Ilya for the United States title? Really? Is that where we're going? All for that? Chris, go ahead, man. This is just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be honest. I forgot Ilya was even a Raw guy. I don't remember much from the last time we even saw Ilya, and I don't think I'm the only one. Only his diehard Glazers that I've seen on X. I mean, you're hitting it on the ballpark here. I don't really know what else to add because if you want Ilya and Gunther, why? Well, first off, where even is Gunther? Really? Second, I mean, I don't know why people want the match to begin with. Everybody wants Gunther to go against everybody. They want him to be John Cena's last match. They want him to go against Brock Lesnar. He did Goldberg's. They wanted Goldberg, and I mean, I think that's just ridiculous to me. And it's the Ilya Dragunov fans and people that like him that now we're gonna see him and Gunther or him and Carmelo. But it's why don't you like I just don't understand the why people enjoy Ilya. I'm not saying he's bad as a wrestler, but when he's not a WWE superstar. When I look at a WWE superstar, I do not think of Ilya fucking Dragunov. He no sells. So you guys complain about AEW wrestlers no selling with Will Ospreay. This guy's worse. And what? Because
that's it. He's constipated. He looks like he's constipated all the time. He has to take a mean shit.
That's the thing I don't understand. I don't understand the booking. I mean, fuck, maybe we should be blaming Chat GPT and AI for this booking now that that's, you know, a thing. But like, which I can't believe that I've even said that, but it's like, what are we doing? What do these people backstage, what does Triple H especially, what does he see in Ilya that made him do this decision? That's all I want to know, because we haven't seen this guy for over a year and we haven't even seen a vignette, nothing to even tease that this guy was coming back. You didn't do anything to even tease that he was coming back and if you would have done that, maybe fans would have gotten interested. Okay, Ilya's going to come. We're going to expect it. We're going to see where it could go. Maybe give him a match before. I don't know, something, not just throw him out there, win it when you had Carmelo Hayes lose twice in an open challenge match when he is literally him. Like, he has that look. Like, he's great. But there's something that, you know, they won't do anything with him. I don't know. It with Carmelo. I have no idea. I have no idea why people love Ilya Dragunov. He doesn't do anything for me. Anything.
Bro, if you look back in his WWE career, this guy has more injury time off than fucking time served on the main on wrestling. Main roster, all his injury time from NXT UK with a neck, with this, with that, with now a knee, this and that. The dude is always injured. That style of wrestling, no selling, doing all this stuff. I've been saying this for fucking years now about Ilya. Again, not my cup of coffee. They don't have to book it for me. I want to say this again. They don't have to book it to make me happy. I'm not saying that. Just because, it's not my favorite. No, because, again, I'm not a Sami Zayn favorite either. That's not my cup. But let's call what spade is due. Let's talk what Chris said. You don't come back from, you don't go on workman's comp from getting injured. You come back from workman's comp. Oh, yeah, we're going to make you the general manager of the business. Right. You was on his workman's comp. You don't even know the logistics of what's going on. And I hate that. Sounds like a bad analogy, but pretty much if you look at it in a layman's term,
that's exactly what it is. I don't think that's a bad analogy at all. That's exactly what it is.
Like the guy that's putting in the work and working his ass off, but then they're going to say, I can hear this. I can hear the reaction. I can hear the backlash. Oh, but you wanted Obafemi to come out of NXT and win the world title. But Obafemi hasn't been hurt. He's been wrestling. That's called a promotion. He got elevated. He worked his ass off carrying an NXT brand as a champion. Now he comes to the main roster and he gets an opportunity as a United States World Champion on his open challenge and wins. That makes sense. Ilya hasn't been around. Work him back. I mean, it's just all these things just I don't get it. Puzzle my mind. I mean, you're talking about ChatGPT writing this stuff up. I mean, when is going to happen when ChatGPT says that R-Truth should be world champion? If they tells them, they're not going to say no, he's too dark for me. Because ChatGPT doesn't see color. ChatGPT sees a name and what they're wrestling. They don't care about ethnicity. They don't care if he's African American, Latino. They don't care. That's AI program ain't gonna run it. So what's gonna happen when they suggest it? No, ChatGPT ain't gonna work for me, because this is what it seems like. I hate to say it. I'm gonna call this, but esto se ve como racismo, brother. Esto se ve como racismo, porque el blanquito viene, hay que ponerlo enseguida al campeonato. Toma. Pero el coloradito, el negrito, no, para allá, para afuera. No, Camelo, tú juega con el Miz. Go juega con el Miz. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like, bro. I'm going to call it. It gets frustrating. What are we doing here? We passed that. This is not 1970. This is not 1960 NWA Crockett bullshit. This ain't the territory days. Bro, no eso. Give it to the people that earned it and worked, bro. That's there. That goes to work for the WWE. To go eat shit in the catering. No tengo nada. La Garces. And when they come out, no one gives a shit. But they're there, though. They're healthy. That's not their problem. They don't put them in there to get the time to work. Or Santo Escobar, Andrade. Now Andrade for being a clown, because, and I told you this, Chris, and I'm going to jump a little bit here. I told you, take a mental break from wrestling. You remember the video? Take a mental break. Don't go right back into wrestling. Coge tu tiempo, stay away, clear your mind off, focus, get back into it because you're going to kill it. He would have killed it, but he didn't. He jumped right back into it. Now he's got to be gone for a full year. Like, really?
Yeah, I mean, we can get into that because I think it's an unfortunate situation. I think, if I'm not going to sit here and say Andrade didn't. I don't think he knew he couldn't compete. I don't think, obviously, legal reasons, right? They're not Tony and AEW. They're not going to have a guy on their show, technically contracted because it's a weird situation because when you fail it's not like he was. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's not like he was. Maybe he was involved in like that group releases. But I thought he was just gone because he failed a wellness policy. I thought he was fired in that.
He was fired. He was fired.
So, and I understand if your contract's not being renewed. But even then, if you're if I'm fired, why can't I go work the next day somewhere? Like WWE, what they did here, and it's fucked up, in my opinion. I think they used the law to their advantage.
Absolutely.
And it's unfortunate, but that's what happened. And I agree with you. I think the 90 days would have been if Andrade knew he had that 90 days. I think the 90 days would have obviously he would have to obey by it. But I think, like you said, though, the 90 days would have been fine. 3 months to clear your head, and then go back into a program with Kenny Omega on AEW. That would have been cool. And I think it would have been a nice refresh. But I think even he knew it was being talked about everywhere. People wanted answers. Like, he really wanted to shock people. Like, I think Andrade was like, I'm going to do this. Who has came from AEW, from WWE to AEW, back to WWE, back to AEW? I mean, I understand it, and it's unfortunate. And, both situations. Andrade can't work when he was fired from a job, but, now that job used the law to their fullest advantage. And, obviously, him going to AEW may have a reason, right? If he shows up on Impact, let's say this was on Impact, TNA Impact the next day, and he shows up, I don't really think. I think there would be consequences, but I don't know. I don't know how I would look at that. It's weird. It's weird, and it's just unfortunate because I do think he should be able to work wherever he wants because he was let go from his place of work. But we know how these 90 days, even the 30 days with the NXT, that's why it's so weird. Those get really confusing. And obviously us as fans, maybe you want to be dirtsheetbodyslam.net or whoever you guys are. Maybe you guys think or know that information. So props to you guys, but we don't know. I don't know. I'll speak for myself. I have no idea what really goes on to the 30-day, 90 days, no complete calls. I think it's utter bullshit, but if somebody maybe gives me a reason why it's beneficial, maybe, but that's just, I don't know. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Well, the federal law, they in court turned it down. They were trying to get rid of it, not just for wrestling, but all across and all employment.
I did hear about that because a lot of the entertainment businesses were doing stuff like that.
In our line, I am an electrician. Work for an electrical company when I'm not here, and we have a non-compete clause. But I don't think it does that to that degree where they telling you X amount of time. I don't think complete clause is I got to give a 2-week notice to let them know that I'm leaving, all this stuff to go work for someone. Do they enforce it? Not that low level as an electrician. No, I don't think they do. They could, they want to in our level because listen, I find this hypocritical when and this is in the real world, in the corporate world. They want you to give a 2 weeks notice to fire when you want to be removed from a company. Oh, listen, you got to give me a 2-week notice. You didn't give me a 2-week notice. But meanwhile, the day they want to escort you out of the building, they don't give you. They say, hey, buddy, 2 weeks from now, we're looking to get rid of you. We're going to fire you in 2 weeks. Get everything ready. Get yourself ready. Start looking for another job. No, they tell you the day of, and sometimes they don't even. They give you a like in Mickey James' case, a paper bag and a plastic bag, and put your shit in it, or security escort you out of the building, like if you're going to shoot up the place. you know. And when it comes to the wrestling business, when they release these wrestlers, sometimes they're thinking, look at Mustafa Ali. He thought he was going to be on a PLE, an opportunity to win North American title, and the phone call comes and telling him, we got to let you go. Some of these things devastate these kids' psychology. Remember, these still are kids, and they're still young men and women. That devastates them. Now, if he got fired for wellness policy, the reason why they put that in place, so you don't do it, and what they did in Seinfeld, like George, if you remember the Seinfeld episode where George Costanza wanted to get fired by the Yankees so he could take the position as head scout director for the New York Mets. You don't want to get purposely fired to go work for your rival for another position, because if you're currently contracted to work there, you can't take that other position. So that's the reason why they put those non-compete, to protect people from inside from sabotaging their place of work to get fired, so they could go and work elsewhere for the competition the next day and bring on, get ahead of them. Well, in a month they were going to do this, and I was there, so let's be the first ones to announce this, so they look like they're copycatting us. That's why they're preventing those 90 days, and also when it comes to medical insurances, also the now with the social media handle, the trademarking, I think they need a couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken, just so they could get clear out of that company branding, because at that moment they're still under that umbrella for representing WWE. If they're fired, even in 24, 48 hours, like if you get fired from a job, I still think you got like 30 days with your medical insurance. You can still see the doctor for the next 30 days, even if you were fired, because you're still under that coverage and so forth like that. I think that's how it works. I'm just trying to put a little similarity.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
World. I know we could be totally wrong. We could be talking to the soul side of our mouths with it. I don't know, but for Andrade, it would have been better for him to just take that time off. Come back into 2026, new year, fresh start, clear your mind off, enjoy the holidays in Mexico. Yeah, it's down, but work on yourself, refocus, come back. I think he would have not. Still think he might still knock it out of the park, because he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. So beneficial for All Elite Wrestling if he returns. Now it's up to them if they're going to book him or not, but I don't blame him with all the shit that we're seeing going on in the WWE, with all the different things, and SmackDown has been so piss poor with the ratings. They've been getting better. So you're telling me now you had to bring Sami Zayn from Raw, you had to bring Ilya from the Angel List, from nowhere, to come in to create buzz for SmackDown. Or is the wrestling watcher in 2025 only wants returning people for shock and awe values, because they don't want to get they don't want to get invested in watching the wrestlers that are currently on those brands? Because I've heard from so a lot of review shows, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss versus Saria and Soruka wasn't a good match. I thought it was a very good match. We all knew that they not going to pull the trigger on the women's tag team champions. We knew that the story here was, if Zarya and Soruka live up to the challenge to be either main roster bound sooner or later, how they felt when the lights were on. And also we saw Blake Monroe being part of the story. How was she going to cost them the match? The match was fine. It was the worst thing on SmackDown. I disagree with you. What are we watching? Again, it's not about what they're catering for you. It's about what makes sense for business. So Ruka, Zarya is the future coming up. Zarya, I've told you, she's stuck on neutral. I don't know what's going on with her booking. I thought those women had a great match on Friday Night SmackDown. And I can't complain about anything there with storyline. Did it progress the women's title match, the title picture? I could agree with you. It didn't do nothing for the champions, but it did more for the NXT women for Halloween Havoc and so forth. So it was good for business and aspect. Chris, what you thought on that there?
It was fine. You want to showcase your top NXT women stars maybe on your bigger shows. I didn't mind that. I don't think they're Soul Ruka's been on SmackDown. Her and Zarya had a tag team match. It's nothing new. We've seen it, them kind of try to bring some of their top NXT stars into their main roster shows to implicate, keep going on with the story that they have going on at NXT. And I think it just makes, they probably do that to make people want to watch NXT. Because I don't know because I was guilty of this of myself one time. after the black and gold era really ended and they started getting to that 2.0 era. I was even at the point where I would go to these shows live. Who the fuck is that? Who's I haven't kept up with NXT. So them putting them on the main roster, on the main roster, I think it's good. I think it's good that they do that. Maybe because at least to me, that's a little bit how I got back into NXT. Was I went to a show? I think who was it? Somebody was on Main Event. I can't remember who it was, but I was like, who is? And then they're NXT dude, and I was like, gave it So I think I like it in that sense. I think it's smart. But again, it has to be your top. I would do it with I wouldn't do like, no disrespect to our guy. I wouldn't have like Lexus King there or somebody that's kind of lower on the card. I would have your Obas, right? Your Tricks, in this case, like your Blake Monroe's. Like, yeah, I just think you have to pick who you're going to, because again, if you have to make somebody, I think it should always be your NXT champion or which in this case, right? Blake Sol Ruka is your North American champion. So that's fine. And Blake Monroe's number one contender. She's going to be the champion eventually, whatever. That's fine. So just pick. They just got to be careful who they pick, because that's ultimately going to some people, that's going to decide if they're going to maybe check NXT out if they haven't yet.
And I like the fact because they're introducing us to these up and comers. It's like when you I like to go to the baseball or the professional sports analogy. Mm-hmm. When you have someone get the call up for when someone goes on the injury list, they get called up and be put on the 40-man roster or the 25-man roster. They come in, they play for a couple weeks, then they have an option to get sent back down to AAA. That's the way. Yeah. I like that sprinkle when it comes to the professional wrestling. That works. It's the story here is about these three women. We're in a Halloween Havoc. Something's on NXT television is playing on, and it bleed over to SmackDown, so you could go watch it. That's what it was. Here's the one thing though that kind of broke my heart a little bit personally, and I get upset even more. You had SmackDown last year around this time had 3 full hours to incorporate a really good roster of wrestlers. They decided to pussyfoot most of it out in the European tour for 3 hours, mostly an hour of John Cena heel. That wasn't so great. Then Cody Rhodes, another 30 minutes of him. So you had an hour and a half killed out of your 3-hour show. And then you brought them back out for another segment, yada, yada. They did a lot of circle. They did a lot of circle wheel of hamster turds over and over and over and over of garbage. You neglected to really showcase at least an hour on your tag team storylines, tag team division. And I get to the Motor City Machine Guns. They celebrated a year on the roster. And let's face it, other from them winning the title early, it hasn't been really peaches and creams for the Motor City Machine Guns, where people are going to see them and say, I don't really care about them. When they shouldn't, when you know what? They should be in the level of one of those decorative tag teams like an FTR. Look, and we'll talk about FTR too. It's shameful and painful to see them at a tailgate party, again on a pre-show, on a PLE. They should be incorporated in a real strong story. John Carter, salute John. I'm doing well. Thank you for joining me, John. I'm watching us here on the kick. I just want to make sure I acknowledge you there, buddy. So, Chris, Motor City Machine Guns, and then Los Garcias, when they were AAA champions, tag team champions, pareja, they didn't even showcase those titles. It's like they don't care about the tag teams. And now you got 2 hours. I could see that. Not enough time. But when you had the 3 hours, they squandered and wasted it.
See, I honestly think it's kind of crazy that we're saying that right now about the tag team division on SmackDown, because just a couple weeks ago, a month ago, they were the hottest tag team division on WWE. They had literally all their tag team wrestlers in a match. And that's the problem. That them doing all those damn tag teams in that match, even though it was great, now where are we? You had all your tag teams on the roster lose at once. They did an okay job at building it, but they still don't have that. The Street Profits could be it, but they still don't have that tag team that's it. Like the Usos were them. Like the New Day were them. They don't have that. When the hell have we seen? And I'm just going on all tag teams now, right? Because I don't mean to get a little bit, off the trails here. What the hell are they doing with the Judgment Day and their tag team titles?
Nothing.
That's fucking ridiculous. What they've been tag team title champions for like 80 days and only defended it once or twice, or something like that. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, they have nobody there. They're the only tag team there. The New Day is playing bullshit with Grayson Waller. They don't even have him in theory together anymore. I mean, the whole tag team division now is just they're so if there's any division on this show that they're inconsistent with, is the fucking tag team division. 1 month the tag team division's hot. 3 months they're dead. 1 month it's hot. 3 months they're dead. And Raw's never been good. At least the last year, their tag team division has not been good. I'm really going on SmackDown because that's really where all of your tag teams are, and that's a problem too. You have to put Fraxium or somebody else on Monday Night Raw. You have to put one of those tag teams. I'm not saying two, just put one. Put one legit tag team like Nathan Frazier and Axiom, who can go toe-to-toe with a JD McDonough and Finn and actually make it a good match and be believable. They don't have anybody to do that. Again, the Street Profits should be your guys, and you treat them and you book them like shit. So I don't know how I'm supposed to take this tag team division. I don't know how I'm supposed to like it. I don't know how I'm supposed to be invested into it when 1 month it's good, the rest of the you go 3 months bad, 1 month is good. It's so inconsistent. And they have a lot of the wrong tag teams on top. I mean, and you couldn't even, and you brought up the Garzas being tag team champions at AAA. You're telling me you couldn't incorporate that into your story, into SmackDown? Okay, cool. Now we have two fucking tag team. You could have had AAA versus WWE tag team. Something to get something interesting and at least make not just the Garzas, but you all want to make a big deal about AAA. You all want us to watch the Worlds Collide show when half of us don't even know what the fuck's going on down there. And you guys don't do anything to let us know on your shows. So stop putting WWE talent, making them your world champions, with the exception of Dominic, because he's phenomenal, but he's Dominic. He's a Mysterio. You don't really need to do or say much with him having a AAA title because it all makes sense. But for guys like the Garzas, I mean, give us something. Give us something. We don't. Okay, cool. And maybe the Dominic example is a bad example because we all know who El Hijo de Vikingo is. We all know what's going on with that. But when it comes to the rest of AAA and the rest of what's really going on, us American audience don't know shit. And you, as a WWE that want to incorporate your wrestlers into their shows, you haven't done anything to let us know. And that's why I think they fumbled the ball with the Garzas being tag team champions, because they could have implicated a lot of AAA stuff onto WWE and actually made people want to watch AAA, and they didn't.
Not only that, Chris, but now you telling me on a Friday Night SmackDown in San Jose, okay, just listen to the word, San Jose, California, you could have had Mexicans. Bro, you could have had Pagano and Psycho Clown taking on Axiom and Nathan Frazier. You couldn't give him that, bro. And while most of your roster is in Japan on a Japanese tour, you couldn't give us that. And hello, next time Raw's Collide come around, I gotta go see those two guys, Psycho Clown and Pagano. I gotta check them out. But no, you give us Dr. Wagner Jr. on NXT. Fine, that's okay. Fine.
That's fine. But what does that do? Well, he's not going against that doesn't do anything. Him going against NXT. Nobody in NXT is going to trip. But what, Lola? She's a female. Okay, cool.
That's it.
Maybe Ethan. I understand with Ethan Page because they had their thing in AAA. That's fine. I can understand that. But again, we're still not familiar with who these people are and what these people do. Now, Mr. Iguana is super over because he has a fucking puppet iguana on his arm. Let's just be honest for a second.
Yeah, no, en serio, dilo.
That's why the American audience loves Mr. Iguana so much, because he paints his face green and he comes out with a puppet. So but again, why does he have that puppet? Why does he call himself Mr. Iguana? You guys don't do shit to let us know who these people are. But you want us to watch all these worlds collide. I don't know. I don't want to get off topic, but it's like,
no, it's frustrating.
They have to do they when it comes to, again, does AAA even have a real tag team division? Like, what is going? I don't know what's going on there. You're telling me you couldn't have any of the AAA teams come up to SmackDown and challenge them? I don't know. The AAA WWE partnership is a whole different conversation, but it's just what are you? You're acquiring all this shit. You're doing all this shit. What are you like? What's your plan? What are you gonna put on TV that's gonna make us just like it? Because a lot of people don't like this product right now, and maybe we're on. I'm gonna say the product. I'm gonna say SmackDown as a whole. SmackDown, because a lot of people don't like this show, and that's what we're talking about. So I don't know. They got to do something, because the main event, bro. Again, I'm going off topic, but it's like
just stick with it.
I don't know if anybody really understood or took notice. So they had Jacob. Obviously, they had Drew take out Jacob. Now that's a whole different thing, right? Who took out Jacob? Obviously, it could be Drew. I think it could be Randy. Hell, it could be Solo. It's not. So that's the only good conversation that could come out of this. But it's like when Cody and Drew had a match, right? Like they had a match. Like, so the announcers, is this for the title? What's going? Like, the announcers didn't even know what the hell was going on. They're like, is this a match? Is this for the title? What? Cody's still in clothes? Like, what are we doing? The announce team last night I took a little bit of notice that towards the end, they didn't even know what was going on. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I thought SmackDown's good when you bring the Vision and they're in Chicago and we have AJ Lee. Like, that now that's why SmackDown was hot for the last couple of weeks. But when those are Raw wrestlers, again, that's what they have to do to make this show good, is implicate a bunch of other people to make it.
The surprise shock value, like, oh my god! So certain podcaster reactors could clip it and get excited or start crying or force the facials so they could get on Netflix and get tickets to go. That's it. That's why it was great. But let's talk about it. In the words of Trick Williams, your current roster, that's your anchor of SmackDown, it's not doing anything. And again, this is why, I said it on my live stream, and I'll say this again here. Cody Rhodes is greater when he's chasing the title. He does not elevate at all his brand as world champion. 2 occasions. Every time he was champion, the brand and no one elevated. He trumped it Solo Sikoa's career, in my opinion, and he's doing the same crap here now with Drew McIntyre. They have to pull the trigger. And I am not a Drew McIntyre fan. I am not a Drew McIntyre fan either, but when you have to call it, when spade is spade. Drew, even if Drew McIntyre is a quote-unquote transitional champion for 90 days or whatever the case is, you have to pull the trigger with Drew McIntyre becoming your undisputed world champion, because you cannot have Cody go out there and keep kicking his ass, beat him in here and there, and then Drew loses again, another world title. You got to have a payoff where Cody has to fight from underneath. Cody does great work as a babyface. He's chasing. Look, his father knew it. His brother knew it. And I even made the analogy when it came to Goldust. Goldust was great on that chase as a heel, trying to capture the Intercontinental title. You couldn't despise Goldust. And when he finally took that Intercontinental title as a heel, holy shit, he got the proper heat because he was on that chase and when he became champion. Cody, the same thing on that finish your story, captivating run. Even this summer, trying to get that title off of John Cena for that bad creative decision, if you want to say if it wasn't or not. John Cena and again, Cody Rhodes does great when he's chasing, but once he's the world title champion, it's like they don't know. They give him the title at the wrong timing, the wrong time of the year, wrong freaking timing. Because you tell me, Chris, we would have been compelling if John Cena would have taken that love letter that they gave us, okay, in Crown Jewel between John Cena and AJ Styles. If it was for the Undisputed World Championship, I think, my goodness, people would have been soaking, and they would have been their underwears would have been totally full of all different types of bodily fluid. I mean, the dew wipes couldn't even clean that shit up if that was for this. But you had to rush giving the title to Cody. Take it to Cody. For Cody has done shit whatsoever with that title. Oh, but then they go, well, wait a minute. You would have not gotten John Cena versus AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. It would have been Seth freaking Rollins. Maybe. But my point is, when that world title was implemented, it would have been so important because Brock Lesnar ain't back. Where's Brock? He beat Cody. He beat Cena, and we haven't seen. I haven't even heard a sniff of a Brock Lesnar. So I don't know what's going on, Chris. This is another frustration part.
So, where do I begin with Cena's retirement tour up to now? AJ Styles and okay, I'll start with this. Cena or Cody. Or Cena losing the title to Cody. I'll start with that. So I think you could have done something to where John Cena loses to Cody Rhodes before his retirement match, because I don't think John Cena's last match should be him losing the world title. Essentially, that's what it could have came down to. If you're telling me you wanted John Cena to have the title of his whole retirement tour, I don't think that would have been a good idea because of that reason. He would have had to have it until his retirement match. He'll lose. I don't think that. But what I would have done maybe is people you brought up, he would have fought Seth instead of AJ. So what? Did you guys not see the feud him and Cena had at Night of Champions, their match? Where Seth becomes the United States and the WWE champion, lined up with the Authority. I mean, come on, that was that for what was going on in WWE at that time. That was freaking good TV. So I would have minded either one. Obviously, what we got was a masterpiece. I'm just saying that could have been that would have played out fine. And maybe you do something at Survivor Series where you lose the title to Cody, build up for your last match in December. That's what I would have done, because now you have a bunch of people back and emotionally invested against you for losing your title. Cody being his second. This is now his second championship run. This is now the second time they gave him the title too soon. People want this. Obviously, WrestleMania 40. I still don't think he should have won it. But anyway, now we're talking about another WrestleMania where SummerSlam, excuse me, where he wins it. I don't understand. I just don't like the way they did that again so early. It was a good match. It was way better than their match at WrestleMania.
Oh, 10 times.
To me, it felt like they're so focused on Cena's retirement tour that they didn't even know what the hell to do with Cody Rhodes as the champion at this point. One, he's kind of done a lot with it to that point. I mean, everybody was calling him the QB1 after he beat Roman. He beat Roman. He took down the title. I mean, he did a lot with that in that short amount of time. I don't think they knew what to do with Cody. And I think that hurt Cena and hurts Cody, because now we're talking about how Cody's a boring world champion. And now we're talking about also Cena retirement tours a little bit on the hump. I don't like what they did with Brock Lesnar. I thought they wasted their whole time, ESPN, all this stuff, going out of the way to build the matchup, and it lasted what, 2 minutes? Like it was ridiculous. And now we don't know who his last opponent's going to be in December. Obviously, that's going to be a whole thing when that gets announced too, bro. No matter who it is, especially if it's not like Gunther. I don't know, like, at this point who it's going to be. But that is one thing, man. I don't think his retirement tour, again, him turning heel, man, and that's why that whole heel thing is why we're talking about this, in my opinion, because he doesn't go heel. He's just a John Cena we've been seeing now. What's the complaint? We're getting good matches and we're seeing John Cena. But they wanted to turn him heel for the first time ever, get us invested, and then it go on the shits. And one day Cena's gonna talk about that.
Oh,
whether
yeah,
it's Chris Van Fleet, something like, it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out. Go ahead,
Chris. I'm gonna ask this question to you.
Yeah.
When Dusty Rhodes took a picture him holding out the world title that he didn't win. Where was it?
I believe it was Madison Square Garden. Was it? Or am I right? Was it Madison Square Garden?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Why I asked that question? Because again, you're rushing. What's the rush of putting Cody Rhodes that world title? Where if you're really talking about finishing the story, it wasn't in no Dusty Rhodes never finished a story, never got his title at WrestleMania. It was at the Garden when he held that picture. Why couldn't you have John Cena take on Cody Rhodes in his final match at Madison Square Garden, where Cody gets the title there, passing of the torch, so forth at the Garden, and then you still got the Survivor Series, and you still have his last match. Plain and simple. Where you could tease it where John Cena wants this title match at the end of December against Cody Rhodes, a rematch. I need that world title one more. Or he could say passing the torch. No, you know what? I respect whatever the case was, but no. They don't. I don't get it. They wanted to please an ESPN bullshit switching, which they told us first it was in March. We're gonna switch over to ESPN in March. No, wait a minute. No, we're gonna do a WrestlePalooza. I mean, what the hell is going on here? What is going on?
That's another thing too. Yeah, that
what
ESPN
is going
thing
on?
was so early. We weren't supposed to get that till 2026.
To March. We wasn't supposed to get that until March.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I don't have ESPN right now. I got the Disney Plus app. Okay, you know what? I'm not right now financially stable, or my financially work is slow. I don't want to really upgrade, yada yada. Good. It's in March. Things will pick up. Things start getting good. I could get the ESPN app will go for WrestleMania. I'm gonna be good. No, boom. They fucking charge. They change that. It's like, what are we doing here? I'm so confused and so frustrated with the WWE. The way they are operating is like. What and then it's starting to, and then that report. I don't know about that report that came out with that new person of storytelling development, whatever the hell that's called, with the Chat GPT, the app, because Triple H is going to take a little bit of time to work part of his political responsibilities. He's a liaison for entertain for physics or personal training, whatever the fuck he's doing with the Trump organization, and
something
so
with the secondary of education.
Something along with that.
Yeah, because Linda's head of Secretary of Education right now.
So let me ask this question. Why is people surprised that Triple H wants to induct Stephanie McMahon into the Hall of Fame? Don't be surprised if Shane McMahon is coming up next. They're making sure under that creative power, they bring in the name McMahon into the Hall of Fame. Because I'm going to say this, I don't see Triple H staying in the WWE long. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong, but it kind of seems like he's preparing his exit parachute and making sure that the name McMahon gets in the Hall of Fame in either Linda, Steffi, or Shane, because we don't know the old man ain't getting in until he passes away. So they're trying to set the bed to put the McMahon family into the Hall of Fame, because they look like the McMahon family, according, and Levesque will be out of the business. It just feels that way. It just feels that that's where we're heading. We're bringing this. Now we're going to have AI write the story. I love the fact that they said that one of the biggest storylines they should be incorporating is Bobby Lashley's love for Japanese wrestling, and he should come back as this enthusiastic. Bobby Lashley's not even in the company. I mean, really? That's why I'm like, is this a real true story? It doesn't feel like it's truth. They might have
reported that, right?
Who did that?
Meltzer.
Oops. David Meltzer. Oh, come on.
Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that.
And you paid $14.99 for that? I'm not saying.
No, I don't fucking.
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you.
I'm
not saying.
I was gonna say what? I was gonna say $14.99 to listen to that fucking clown. Oh, he has to be blocked. No, there are people that do. There are, because people want to listen to him and Alvarez argue, and the only way you can do that is to pay that fucking subscription. That's why people pay it. They know what they're doing. They argue on purpose sometimes so people watches it. But no, thank God, shout out to what Meltzer says, that X account, so I don't have to pay to see that content because they upload it on their Twitter. But he's the one that reported that. So really take that for what you want. Take that for what
Let's move on from WWE. Let's wrap up real quick with the WWE, because we got other companies, that we want to talk about. But this is the ugly part. I mean, that's just the ugly part. We had the good, the bad, and the ugly, but we're going backwards. We're going ugly, bad, and good because I want to finish on a good note. But let's go with let's wrap this up. Where here's another bad news. Seth freaking Rollins. Apparently his shoulder's out. He's going to get rotator cuff surgery. We don't know what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw. Relinquish of the title. At Perth, Australia, the vision turning on him. Bron Breakker. We seen that coming, but I did not see that coming that Monday in Australia. I was shocked. I was like, oh, damn, they're going with it. Big Bronson Reed joining. Paul Heyman aligning them. Quickly, everybody going, we need a third member. We need a third. We need a fourth. There is a third member. His name is Brock Lesnar whenever he feels like coming out. Right now, let it just play out. We don't need to start rushing people. We don't need NWO. You know, one of the biggest complaints I hear is Don Callis family. Oh, they got so many members. But meanwhile, you want to add members to the division. Let it go. Let it slow down. Let it be two members right now with Heyman. Let it slow down. Let's pump your brakes. Let it be organically. We don't need to rush in there. You know, even with Judgment Day, it started off slowly with Edge bringing in Rhea, then Damian later down the road, and it wasn't, you know, and so forth. Let it slow down.
It was, yeah. No, I agree.
Reverse.
It was reverse. Priest then Rhea. Yeah, no, I agree. Now, I'll say this. I knew this was coming. I didn't think so soon, like you said, because we texted after it happened. We're like, holy shit, bro. Like, did you see? Because it was early. I don't think this was supposed to happen on Monday. I think this injury is legit because I can understand why people, you know, might get the idea of Seth faking an injury because he did a really good job at pulling it off. But first off, you can't do that again. I don't think if he were to do that, like, he just did that. And I think this one's for real this time, obviously. And I think that's why they did it, obviously. But I don't want to see another member. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar because this is your chance. And you're gonna like this. This is your chance to make Bron Breakker him. This is your chance to elevate Bron Breakker. If you're going to add another member, you cannot add somebody who has a bigger status and star power than Bron, because Seth does, Brock does. We're seeing the growth and development with not just Bron, because we've seen, or especially you being at the PC, him being your guy. We knew Bron was dedicated for sex. Obviously, you know, second generation wrestler, whatever. But with Bronson, I mean, they're like that's Kev's guy. But with Bronson, it's like that dude was. When I went to Monday Night Raw in June last time they came to Hershey, he was on main event, and now this guy's a main event caliber wrestler, having matches with Roman Reigns in his home country, being in the biggest spots of Monday Night Raw. That's why you can't add another member, in my opinion. Like, you can keep Becky. Becky's fine. And I think Becky should not, I don't think she should walk around with the group and do all that. But I do think she should, you know, if they're backstage, have her backstage, like, hey, Seth, like, her be the messenger for Seth. Because they're still married. It's they're obviously married. It's super realistic. And Becky's not going to stay off work the whole time to take care of Seth. Like, Seth's going to be at home with the daughter. You know, he'll have somebody checking in up on him once in a while. Like, Becky's going to, you know, be out doing her own thing. So I think they should keep that in the story to keep fresh. But because, like, you know, Seth, when he comes back, like, not be a part of them, because obviously they turned on Seth, but it's like, have Becky, like, hey, when he comes back, like, you know, this isn't over. Like, or have her at least confront them in some type of way. Like, what's going on? Like, what like, that. So that's, it's all, and again, that'd be cool. But my main point here is, I don't want Bron and Bronson, but especially Bron Breakker, to get lost in the shadow and kind of, because when you look in the ring and you see Seth, Paul Heyman, you automatically are going to get drawn to Seth and Paul Heyman. I mean, that's a hell of a fucking duo.
Yeah.
So, and it did even look at times where Bronson and Bron just looked like the two bodyguards kind of like
Yeah.
Solo was in the Bloodline. So you now that they turned on their leader, kind of how like Solo and them did, and dude, you can't add anybody else. If you're gonna add somebody else, make it make sense, and don't have it not be a bigger star than Bron Breakker.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because in my perfect world, Chris, in my world, but it's not going to happen because we already seen that they already invested. Do you know who will be the third member? But it's never going to happen. It should have been Solo Sikoa. Solo, Bronson Reed, and Bron Breakker would have been a hell of a trios. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen there. With Paul Heyman there, who could, he could guide them there. But it's not, again, Solo's doing this thing with his MFTs on Friday Night SmackDown, which I got to give it time. I like the presentation of the Gorilla of Destiny with all the face paint. Solo Sikoa. I hope they destroy the Wyatts and we move on from that situation with them. But for Monday Night Raw, for Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, I'm glad they're not going to get shoehorned, although this is WWE Creative with the tag team titles. I don't know. It looks like Braun is going to be positioned to possibly be the World Heavyweight title champion. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. Becky tweeted or intimated of Omos possibility looking, like you said, keep that feud alive where she recruits someone to fight for her husband's honor, like a Omos. You telling me you put a pairing of Omos, which they teased them going face to face in an NXT house show, Obafemi Omos as a tag team to go after Big Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker with Becky Lynch on one side and Paul
Talk
Heyman
about
with
a fucking tag team. Holy shit, our boy on the other channel is going to be excited.
I mean, just think of that feud, but I don't think they'll do that either, because I don't know if Obafemi and Omos with Becky Lynch as their mouthpiece, Heyman as their mouthpiece for the guys. I don't know if they'll go that route. I don't think they'll push that button there. I don't know if they'll
need a lot of room temperature water.
I mean, yeah. So I don't know if they'll do that, Chris, but interesting enough. One thing again from Perth, Australia, Asuka defeating Rhea Ripley.
Asuka defeating Rhea Ripley.
No, wait a minute. Was it Ripley beating? No, Ripley getting the pin there. I got it all backwards against Kairi Sane. I like the feud they're going. Yeah. I like the feud that they're getting. I don't know why I read it that. I like the feud that they continue to go in there. Dominic Mysterio in his Intercontinental title run was great. What is he doing with the Intercontinental title? He's elevating it. I think Penta, Rusev, JD McDonough in the background, as well as Finn Balor waiting to turn on him. Now we're getting AJ Styles teaming up with Dragon Lee, possibly becoming tag team champions. Who knows? The mid card, actually, that story, if you look at it, it's becoming a little interesting with all the different people, the different moving parts. It's fun.
Raw's way above SmackDown right now. Yes,
it's fun. It's fun.
No, it's fun. They got a little bit of everything going on Monday Night Raw.
Even Maxine Dupree, she's got a match coming up for the Women's Intercontinental title. It's even interesting because she had the match of her life. Yeah.
Shout out to Maxine Dupree. I mean, we talked about this last week. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but it's like, go watch last week's video if you haven't. But it's like, that was impressive what I saw from Maxine. Becky continues to show why she is the GOAT. And dude, she's hot as fuck. Let's just be honest, and I mean that all respectfully, of course. Very beautiful woman, but she is so fine. And I can appreciate her not just using that to her advantage and being out there. No, it seems like she actually wants to fight. It seems like she actually wants to improve and learn and be the best wrestler she can. So I actually I'm actually rooting for Maxine. I hope she does great. I hope she actually, becomes a really, really good in-ring wrestler, because she has a lot of work to do. And I'm not the personality. She she's a hot blonde chick. It's gonna work. And again, I mean that respectfully, because I had no real problem with Maxine. I just think she needed real work, but she's doing something to obviously improve. But again, she is showing that she just doesn't want to be that hot blonde chick. She actually, she wants to rumble. She wants to be good. So shout out to Maxine, dude. I'm I'm actually, I hope she does well. I hope she gets like a IC title reign down the future or something.
I got to give her credit. A lot of work she puts in the dungeon, and Natalia's dungeon, and TJ.
That too, yeah.
They do great work in Tampa every Wednesday night. She's, Natalia has like about 30, 25 students that goes in there, or performers from all different all different companies at the dungeon, working, training, and putting in the work. And Maxine, every week she's there. She wants to eat and sleep, and it's showing. Good job for Maxine. I'm looking forward for her match this Monday on that title. I believe the women's intercontinental title. Good luck. I know they're going to put a bang of a match there for Monday Night Raw. And I want to see where it goes. Monday Night Raw, like you said, a much more superior brand. There's talks of bringing it back to 7 o'clock again now, make it permanent. I like the 7 o'clock start personally.
Me, man.
It works great, especially in January, those days where, you want to, it gets dark a little early. 8 o'clock feels like midnight because it's so damn dark outside with the sun's down. You want to start at 7. You get us captivated, intrigued in December, January, when they were talking about. I hope they leave it there. 7 o'clock start will be phenomenal. If on the East Coast, when they're in the United States. I hope that's something that they go moving forward. We'll see where that goes there. Let's talk a little bit about NXT. NXT, we had a 20-woman battle royal, determining number 1 contendership. We had a return to a complete Matt Cardona, who got a huge pop against Josh Briggs. We also had a AAA appearance by El Hijo de Vikingo taking on Alexis King. I believe the Latin American Championship was on the line. So another opportunity for Alexis King to have a title shot. And then OTM returns and just totally brought chaos in a triple threat, squash all the members of that triple threat tag team. Good to see. First, I'm going to start off with OTM. I'm glad that they're back. Watching Bronco Lima, who, by the way, used to be the security guard that used to pat us down and go into NXT UK, NXT 2.0 in the old days when he first came up, or when they transitioned away from the 2.0 into that weird orange and white or orange and black. Bronco was always a security guy, always used to say what's up to him, always cool. Of course, his little brother used to come to the Performance Center, still does. His brother's cool, a good baseball player, all that good stuff. He's a good brother, a good kid, man. For me personally, meeting him, just for a little bit of an interaction, I'm a big fan of Bronco. I really, like Tyreek, Tyreek as well from High Risers. Those guys used to do security, and you get to talk to them. You get to say, hey, what's up, man? How's your day going? Everything good? Yeah, man. Cool guys. I'm happy to see them back on television. Please, WWE or NXT, book these guys. Make them work. If you don't got really much as a tag team for them, move them. Let them go to TNA and work as a tag team there as well. We have that working relationship. Send them to get some reps and bumps, because these kids, they've got an X factor as a tag team. Their body, the way they're constructed body-wise, their length, their height, the way they look. I'm glad they're back, Chris. I'm glad that they're for them for OTM.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with OTM. I've seen a couple of their stuff, before they were gone for a little bit. They seem like, they got good looks. They seem like, like you mentioned, cool dudes. So obviously, the NXT crowd was really excited, because again, a lot of them go every week. A lot of them, they know who he is. So it's they have. It seems like they're over. So I'm excited, curious to see what they really got. So I can really give a good opinion on how I like them. But they seem like good wrestlers. I don't know. They seem like they have potential. Like the one dude reminds me of Trick. Like,
okay,
he could be like a Trick, like, he's coming in. I don't know where this dude's background, but football player and he has a good size. If he's charismatic on the mic, which you've talked to him, so you could probably answer that or a little bit better. But if he has that charisma, and he has a good size, so he could be pretty good.
Both of those guys, they're like a cross between like a Doom, if you're an old timer, a Doom, or Harlem Heat type of the look.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
Harlem Heat, Doom, you know, they're that bruiser that could go out there and kick ass type of deal. They presentation wise, you're like, oh shit, or 3-minute warning when they will come from behind and like,
Okay,
that aura, like, oh shit, they're gonna beat some, you know, or you know, APD, you know, before they got noticed, you're like, damn, they got you know, who these guys, hard hitting tag teams, you know, and you know that you could see it there. You know, I kind of wish that kind of aura that OTM has or developed prior. I wish Dark State would have get that, but they don't have it. Dark State feels like a bunch of four dorks. If they would have had that aura and that presentation of OTM, then you'll be like, damn, Dark State. Oof. In a perfect world, in a perfect world, OTM should have been part of Dark State instead of those two other, you know, and you'll be like, oh damn, that. Because they come out what they feel. Because when you see those two guys, you if you don't come correct, because they're the most nicest guys in the world. Believe me, trust me, they're cool as shit when you talk to them. But if you get out of line with them, they look like they will fuck you up.
Oh,
plain and simple. Bronco ain't playing that. Bronco ain't gonna play that. And Lucius, you know, he's another one that looks like he'll fucking beat you up and go in a fucking tissel. They'll go and they'll really, you know, they give you that vibe. OTM, and I like it. I'm glad they're back. Let's talk about this surprising seeing Josh Briggs getting the pin on Matt Cardona. I think the story here, no one's really going to remember. I think people are going to more remember the pop and the love that Matt Cardona received from the WWE world, from the universe, from NXT, and from everyone across, more than Josh Briggs winning, in my opinion. I don't think it hurted Matt Cardona.
I don't either. I think it was a treat to see Cardona in NXT. That's really what it was. Again, you're elevating. One, it's an NXT show. You have to elevate Josh Briggs. He has a really fucking good size, man. He looks like a big dummy at some points when he was with that dude from Noah. But I mean, he that super kick he gave Cardona to win was fucking lethal. Like, obviously, you know, the helps, but it looked like a great kick, and Cardona sold it really well. So that and we, you know, that was a good finish because he didn't have to do anything crazy, like a finisher, like essentially like when Matt Cardona does his rough ride or whatever it's called now. We know that's the end. Like, he just did a simple kick to the face, and we're like, oh, like, so they're trying to book him dominant, which I like. I don't mind that because he, again, has a great size. He reminds me of when Priest got to NXT during that black and gold era. This is who Josh Briggs reminds me of, and I've said this since the first time I saw him. And now they're showing it like that, because this is how Priest got. When Priest got into NXT, he had good matches, but they didn't do anything. He kind of not was a heel, but he became a little bit of a, you know, badass. And then boom. So I like what they're doing with Josh Briggs. Again, good opponent to have it with Cardona, not just because it's Matt Cardona and he's, you know, popular as shit, but like you said, it doesn't hurt him because he can come for a rematch if he really wants to. And he's established. I mean, Josh Briggs isn't. I mean, it's simple. It's simple in that way. So I liked it.
We saw that Josh Briggs have elevated his wrestling, coming back from when he went to Noah. You know, he brought back Yumi Moro with him, you know, as a big,
that's
you know,
his name.
As well with Cherry and Heights. You saw they get elevated. You know, hopefully they do the same thing with Charlie Dempsey, who Charlie Dempsey loves going to wrestle in Japan, and he took Harlem Lewis with him. You know, I think Hank and Tank is going to Noah as a tag team, so hopefully they get elevated with their style, different work. For me, I always say this about Briggs. I think you know, would have loved he reminds me of JBL, where I could love to see Briggs a little run in Mexico, you know, with the Worlds Collide, do some program the way Lola Vice goes back and forth, go out there and work in Mexico a little bit. Also TNA, you telling me, you know, even if he becomes good friends with the Southern Psycho, they, you know, boy, listen, heck, let them train and work together. Mance Warner lives in Orlando. I know he does a lot of independent scenes and he travels, he flies a lot. Briggs and Mance Warner, kind of a crazy Southern tag team. I know Briggs has done the tag team things with Jensen, and they did the cowboy stuff, and they were entertaining in NXT UK and NXT. You know, they won tag team gold along with Fallon Henley was part of their group. But you know, even if he reaches in a war with Mance Warner, working in that TNA crowd, working in a TNA building, or with the different creative aspects where you might see something unlocked from Briggs. I think he's there. I think there's something there. Also, get away a little bit from the NXT crowd who chants for him to go away, and they don't want to see him go away. They don't like him. Another set of eyeballs will go good with Josh Briggs. I think there's a lot of potential. You can't tease size, and that guy has size and ability. He's really good. He's size and ability, the look, the anger. To me, again, another kind of a younger version of a JBL. Personally, you know, or even if a Nick Nemeth brings him under his wing of Ryan and just just work with him, something different. I think will really, and this is high compliments to all these wrestlers that I want to see them, you know, become like a mentor or someone to talk with a Josh Briggs at TNA, you know, or in AAA, where maybe, you know, Conan could get in between a little bit of his ears. You know, Conan has done wonders with all different talents, not just Latino talent, just wrestling in general. Conan loves the business, but something different will go work wonders for Josh Briggs. I'm not saying he doesn't have it here in NXT. I think he does, but sometimes a little change of scenery, you know. Absence makes the heart founder. A little bit of absence of Josh Briggs without releasing, go work elsewhere for a little bit. Part of under the WWE umbrella, I think will go uber great for him, because he put on a good match with Dijak, that triple threat that he had there with Dijak. I believe who else the other one? I believe Wesley, if I'm not mistaken, was one that we still talk about. So that's a good one there. Speaking of that, Wesley being released as well. We're going to talk about that in a second. All those wrestlers since we're in a NXT, Evolve, WWID, a lot of wrestlers not renewing with the WWID program. You know, also Wesley not part there, where it makes you scratch your head with Wesley, you know, why he's not there. Uber talented young man for him, the second longest reigning North American champion, and you release him, not even because there is no future in the main roster. I mean, I'm like, I have to question that. For Wesley.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I don't understand that release.
That was
really know.
Release.
He's the longest reigning North American champion. Dude's great.
Second. Oba beat him.
Second. Okay.
Second. Yes.
Okay. So still, he's great, man. I have no idea. I don't even know what to say for that release. That's just ridiculous.
And putting on bangers of matches when they were in the 2.0 era, where everyone else was just doing no one did suplexes, everything was very vanilla. If you watch some of the 2.0 matches, I was there live, and I was like, damn, no one does a body slam or a suplex, you know, at that era. And Wesley was putting on matches where he was a cardiac kid, and you know, I'm surprised that he didn't even get an opportunity in the main roster run. You know, where some like, ooh, it makes me wonder. It makes me raise an eyebrow. Hopefully there's no, and he's a family man. His wife used to sit amongst us in the arena, and she was sweet as oh my goodness, as honey. They were cool people. He was a good husband, always checking out his wife. I don't know. I hope, you know, for him, he's gonna bounce back on his feet. He'll fit like a glove in TNA as a rascal if he wants to go that route. If he goes solely wrestling, I could understand it as well, because that kind of style fits him for him as well. It doesn't, you know, but he's going to get a little bit lost in the sauce, but he's working. That's what it counts for Desmond Xavier, aka Wesley. Good luck with that there. Now this one, the Lexus King with Dr. Wagner, it was what it was. It was a title defense. It wasn't the greatest match. You know, the chemistry was a little off. Retaining there. Zarya getting beat by Blake Monroe. Interesting there with Soruka interfering in post-match, and then Soruka giving an opportunity for Zarya to be in the Battle Royal, which was, again, stories. They're telling stories across different platforms. We saw that on Friday Night SmackDown. But let's talk about that 20-woman Battle Royal. Your opinion on seeing Tatum Paxley winning it?
Shocking. I mean, it's definitely unpredictable, rather, because I said Jordan could win it or Kalani. But shocking, because I can't see Tatum Paxley beating JC Jane. But I said the same thing with JC Jane against Stephanie the Killer. So I have no idea, man. I am a little surprised. I don't know why, because the before she was with Izzy, she was just this girl that lost her friends because they got released playing with the doll.
Mm-hmm.
What? You're telling me Lola didn't deserve to win this battle royal? You're telling me Jordan Grace, who is predictable as hell, but is easily the most dominant wrestler, she shouldn't have won this match? I mean, I like Tatum. I think she's a cute girl. She's she's okay. She's not the I don't think she's the worst, but I what's this storyline gonna be? What's this build up gonna be?
All right.
I don't. Is Izzy Dame gonna do most of the talking for her? Is she gonna be? I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right. Let me give you my point of view. I don't think you should agree or disagree. I'm not trying to change your thoughts. Let me give you my point of view. Why? When it comes to Tatum Paxley, she's now one of the longest on the NXT roster, where she's been there for a long time, along with Fallon Henley from that class. And they want to see now, give an opportunity for Tatum. Never really got that opportunity to be in the main event on either.
I never see you kept up with her a lot because you saw her live a lot. So I'm taking your word for it.
Her improvement as a NXT female wrestler has gone up immensely. She is a girl who was stuck on Level Up, wrestling and Level Up, wrestling here and there, not taking too much seriousness here. No title opportunities. This is an opportunity for her to be put on a. They have to make a decision on her. Especially when her fiance or her husband Javi Bernard no longer with the company, part of that recruiting class. They body Javi, Feliz Javi da. Yeah, so they have to make a idea. Yeah, everyone says how the hell he got that how the hell he landed her.
Did you hear that Dragunov's with that LFG girl, that Asian LFG girl that got released?
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought Dragunov.
She posted a picture. She posted a picture with her and Ilya at dinner. It was like, "I'm so happy for you," blah blah blah, and it's breaking the internet.
Oh my God, that's Love Island in that business, in that fucking performance center. But let's stick on this course with the Tatum Paxley. That was funny. I didn't know that. Tatum Paxley, they're given an opportunity to be in the main event because they had to make a decision. Do we elevate this woman? She has a good look. She has a following. Now they're gonna find out that following is gonna translate in Scottsdale, Arizona, with the crowd behind her. If they're really watching it, if they're gonna get invested on Tatum Paxley, the storyline is there for Izzy Dane to turn on her because they interjected Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria, for some reason, is the one that attracts schizophrenic or bipolar friends. Like in Bailey, where her storyline now is bleeding here into NXT, with Tatum Paxley, having a low self-esteem of not having her friends or they disappear. Now, Izzy now not liking that friendship angle there, and it looks like it's going to be Izzy Dane turning on Tatum to prevent the title. That's why I don't think she's going to win on Halloween Havoc. I think that's a storyline already being planted, or the seed in place there for Tatum. She's gonna knock it out. I think she's gonna have a good match with JC Jane. These are the one of the two longest OG NXT women on the roster. They're gonna have a main event. I'm okay with it. Let's see if she can sink or swim. But I'm happy she gets that recognition. Because Jordan Grace is gonna go on for bigger and better things in a few years. Blake Monroe could go on a bigger, better thing. Even Zarya, Soruka, but I don't know about Tatum. So if this is her opportunity her big moment, kudos for a well-earned young lady who put in a lot of work in her wrestling business. So that's the way I look at it. All right, give her this is her Super Bowl moment. Go out and win the Vince Lombardi. Go out there, go an opportunity. To me, that's the way I see it for Tatum, and the rightfully earned woman is going to be in the main event, in my opinion, when it comes to Tatum Paxley. Go for it against JC Jane if you want to keep that. It doesn't hurt if they give me a 50-50 outcome here. Be honest with you. It doesn't hurt for me. It doesn't hurt me here. Here's another one. I want to give a little bit of a mention because I had to hold my tongue for about almost a month. When was the invasion angle when TNA came in and they when I went live. It was like 3 weeks ago that we went that they did that.
Yeah,
bro. I had a whole 3 weeks not mentioning the Evolve Women's Champion, Kendall Gray beating Carly Armstrong, which is, I said this and I tweeted it, I texted to Chris, match of the year for Evolve or even for women's wrestling.
that's right. You did tell me that. Yeah.
And I didn't spoil it. I didn't say anything. I didn't tweet anything. I seen other people, all that good stuff. I kept it quiet. And they had to do this Secession special TV event on Tubi, which is all of it was taped. And I really enjoyed that match, being there in person live to see Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray is one of these ladies. When I saw her come up with Carly Bright, I was like, you know what? These ladies got an it factor. I was a little disappointed when we didn't see her off the television into Evolve. I think she's a strong, and Carly Armstrong, I mean, she checks aura of women talent, where NXT's got some other women coming up that are like, holy shit, you know, and that's nothing. There's more of those talented women in the Evolve system that's going to get eventually elevated to NXT women that are getting ready to go. As we say, what's up? Ethan is joining us in the chat. Salute, Ethan. And of course, hope you're doing well and enjoy your Rev Pro show today, my friend, mate. Let's talk about now the Go Home show. We have the Go Home show Dynamite. Not a lot of buzz, enthusiasm coming out of it. Jon Moxley, Darby Allin had that face-to-face cinematic I Quit match set up there. Kenny Omega, Jurassic Express drama with the Don Callis issue. All the different things, Chris. Where do you want to start with? If you want to start with the main event, where possible main event with Samoa Joe and Hangman build, I'll go with you.
Yeah, I can start with that. That's fine. I think when it comes to Samoa Joe and Hangman tonight, they are doing WrestleDream live in, I believe, St. Louis, St. Louis, Missouri. It will be Hangman defending his championship against Samoa Joe. I don't know, man, because I've kind of felt this way the whole way throughout this build. Holy shit. All right, let me get in my AEW mode right here. So the last hour and a half we've been WWE. Okay, I was about to say a WWE wrestler's name. That's why. So when it comes to Samoa Joe and Hangman, the build, I honestly feel like they threw this match together because Samoa Joe's technically supposed to be a babyface. Samoa Joe, when he does he's trying to be a heel. They're trying to make him be a heel in this, but it's just not working. There's a strong disconnect. And I don't know if they just threw this match to have Hangman have a match at WrestleDream. They didn't have to. They could have had Darby and Moxley easily be the main event because this is in my opinion, this is the only reason. If I do watch WrestleDream or if I buy it, whatever, because I'm not paying the whole fucking $50. I'll tell you that. I'll do 25. But it's like, if I do watch it, that's the only thing I'm really going to care about on this card. I mean, the card's not that great to begin with. This is the only thing in an I Quit match. Now, let's go right there to Darby and Moxley. What they did was I liked it. I liked it. But my only complaint is, why couldn't we see this in the ring? Why couldn't they done this last week, and why couldn't we seen these two in the ring face to face? No Wheeler Yuta, no Darby Allin, involvement, no Claudio, nothing. I just wanted Darby and Moxley to go in the ring face to face. We really haven't had that since Darby has been back from Mount Everest. So that's the only thing that I'm going to say about this segment. Otherwise, they both made good points. They both obviously are the two biggest stars on the show right now, in my opinion. So it was good. It was a good overall. It's going to be a hard match to predict. I don't know who's going to win. Obviously, we could have, I don't think Jon Moxley could take another L, especially losing the way he did at All In. But Darby, this is his first match back besides climbing Mount Everest. I want Darby to get momentum, hopefully going into a championship opportunity against Hangman in the future. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But those are the only two things that, in my opinion, I'm going to care about for tonight's show. I didn't care about Jamie Hayter and Sky Blue. Didn't care about Jungle Jack and Luchasaurus and Kenny versus the Don Callis family. I mean, I don't care about that. That's why they're back together. It was an okay match, very predictable, but it tried to give us a story. Can Kenny really trust Jack Perry? I get that, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. You know, they're obviously going against. I think it's going to be Jungle Express versus the Young Bucks tonight for a $500,000 tag team match, Kev. So the winner is going to get an extra 500 grand into their fucking pocket. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But nothing really came good out of that Dynamite. So I'll just quickly give you guys a little bit of a prediction for tonight's WrestleDream. Mercedes 10 belts is doing an open challenge for a TBS title. Who do we think it's going to be? Is it going to be an AEW wrestler? Is it going to be a Dakota Kai? Somebody in that sense who's trying to debut? We shall see. There will be a trios match. The Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, Shelton, and MVP. MVP will be in the ring, guys. Holy shit. Versus Ricochet, Bishop, Khan, and the other guy, Toa. The Gates of Agony. Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. And Bishop Khan actually follows me on Twitter. So shout out to Bishop Khan. I won't say anything bad about you, but you should get away from the Ricochet train, brother. Anyway. AEW tag team match. Bro Dito will be taking on the unified champion Takoshne. Wait, what is this happening for real? Holy shit, bro! Dito versus Takeshna and Okada.
There's a lot of take a shit in Okaka.
I don't know why these guys aren't having a feud, but whatever. And then we have Chris Statlander versus Timeless Tony Storm. So. Not that exciting of a pay-per-view really happening. They have to change Kyle Fletcher's nickname because he's going against Mark Briscoe today, and his nickname is the Proto Star. Every time I see that, I think of something else. So the Proto Star. Take out the freaking R and move it to the right. That's what I think of. So they got to change that dude's fucking nickname. But other than that, man, I mean, if you're a sicko, you're gonna watch this show. But I can tell you right now, I don't know if this show's gonna interest me at all. Even with the Darby Allin and Moxley shit, this show just doesn't do it for me, brother.
Look, they wonder why the ticket sales are really poor. Kudos to them. I think they got over 5,000 tickets sold. And it's funny to see the AEW sickos now combating the TNA diehards.
I was gonna bring that up after you went. Yeah.
That's our next topic, by the way. And everyone should stay in their own lane when it comes to that. The ticket sales and all the other stuff. Personally, you know what? Right now, the energy that the sickos should be incorporating is not attacking TNA fans or WWE fans. They should be worrying about making their product be white hot, because it's not. It's not.
It's because I'm going to say real quick. It's because now there's two reasons why the sickos are really doing this. It's one, obviously they're working with WWE. That's the real thing.
That's the real thing. Yeah.
But there is competition now, bro.
Absolutely.
Like TNA's, they know there's now. People still laugh at me when I say TNA's, and I called the dude a clown earlier because I said something about TNA could be in the number 2 promotion because they're outdrawing WrestleDream, and I think they know at this point that oh shit, people are actually giving a fuck about TNA. Like now, if you've only been giving a fuck about TNA since their partnership with WWE, shame on you. But we've been fucking with this shit for years, but really covering it for years here. So especially this year, going heavy. So I think everybody should stay in their own lane because as TNA heavy as we are, and yes, I just shitted on AEW, but again, I'm not engaging myself in who's outdrawing what. I try not to even bring up other companies when I'm talking. If I'm talking about a WWE show, I try my hardest not to. But in AEW, I don't like when people do that to me because I'm not talking about AEW. Now, if it makes sense to what we're talking about, sure. If we're talking about maybe a specific wrestler there and there, whatever. But I don't like it because no one was doing. The Sickos weren't doing this months ago. Before, even during Slammiversary, they did not give a fuck about TNA. They looked at TNA as bad. But now that Bound for Glory happened, Mike Santana's the world champion. TNA's actually getting buzz now. They're worried, bro. And now all these shit's going on about TV deals. They don't know what's going on with Warner Brothers in the future. I mean, bro, it's TNA has the target. They just need to shoot, and they're going to in 2026.
Yeah,
and I agree with those are worried about it.
I agree with you because you have your parent company where your platform is being distributed. They're in flux. Warner Brother Discovery, they're in flux. They don't know who's going to. They're looking to sell. Reports that they're going to break off the division. Don't want tell the sports one way, the television another way. Who's bidding for it? It could be a competitor that's WWE heavy, looking to buy it, and you see all the kind of programming and all the different attacks where they're concerned. If you're an AEW fan, sicko, you worry because that's the first place, because you might not have a platform to watch the shows in any meaningful. For many years they laughed at Access TV being, nobody watches Access. Well, TNA is growing away from Access, and the sickos are worried that they might be now vanished off to a platform like an Access TV, like a Tubi, like a stuff that they're clowning. They were, the shoe might be reversed on the other foot now, and they're a little concerned. Also, the attendance. They're having a hard time selling out the arenas. It's having a hard time even in smaller venues. It takes a while, for them to, there's not an instant demand on the product for tickets. And the thing is, sometimes I raise an eyebrow and I go, damn, I understand that right now economically we're all hurting. I don't even know if I can make it to the full sale shows on my dime to go in my backyard for TNA. Because that's how much financially I'm hurting with work. And I'm like, damn, it's not just here in Florida. It's all across this nation. People are hurting. But people turn around and say, well, see, WWE sells out. They do this and this and that. I'm like, damn, like, what do they do? Is it corporations buying these tickets and distributing? I don't know. It's a tough one because WWE is doing something out of the norm that two wrestling companies are showing it. Like TNA has to. Kudos to TNA for having 77,000 plus at the arena at the Tonga Center. We were at the Slammiversary. I think what put the sickos on notice was that Slammiversary attendance gate. When they put that Slammiversary attendance gate, it was like, oh, wait a minute, they caught their attention. They're like, whoa, and then they started building for Bound for Glory. Not only that, you got to give them credit for selling out Emergence for TNA. That building at almost 5,000, almost 35 or close to 4,000 people. And then when they went to Edmonton, Alberta for Turning Point, it raised eyebrows because they did something that a lot of companies weren't doing, allowing the broadcast reactors to stream it on YouTube with no copyright. They're doing innovative stuff. Do we like it? Certain things we do. The fact that we weren't involved in that's a personal issue. Business-wise, it makes sense for TNA what they're doing. That makes total sense. We might not like the Harlem brothers, whatever, the twins, those the two jokers, the BDE in the matches, or because it seems like they always get those front row seats invited for clout chasing, for marketing. That's fine, that's cool, that's all great, fine and dandy. AEW did it with the reactionary podcasters when they were in Toronto. They put the Santee Sap, and then they put the other guy, the backcourt Sap redheaded kid, and all of them. They were there. Hey, look at who's there. And then they did a meme with the Alexa Alexa girl, and that she was undressing Powerhouse with her lies, you know. Even though she don't eat sausages, but still she was addressing the kid, the wrestler. But my point is, they're doing good business moves. I want to end on the positive, on the WrestleDream. I think the sickos are going to enjoy this Saturday night. You know what was positive? There's no counter programming. They got the night. Saturday night, AEW's got the night. Go out there, take it. You know what? People are complaining. You heard us bitching about that WWE complaining about their shit not making sense. You have the opportunity here to get people that feels almost the same way or feel the same thing. Bring them back. But here's the problem when it comes to AEW. When they follow up on Wednesday, they're not going to follow up with the pay-per-view, Chris.
I was just gonna get into that because I'm not even gonna say that because they won't follow up. They never do. I say this every pay-per-view, and they never follow up. My hope, dude, last year when MJF came back at Double or Nothing, I was sitting this before I really was a screamer, and I'm sitting here just jumping up and down. They're turning it around. They're turning it around. MJF's back. Adam Cole. Oh, I haven't done shit since. And then, earlier this year, I forget which pay-per-view it was exactly. Said this, thought the same thing with even Double or Nothing this year. That Ospreay and Hangman match. Oh my God, they're so back. All in. Oh, okay, this is their biggest show of the year. This is their WrestleMania. They have to follow up now. I mean, come on. We didn't even see Darby for 2 weeks after that. And that's what people wanted to hear. This guy just climbed Mount Everest. And you didn't get this guy an open mic the next Wednesday? I mean, come on. So, the positive is, yeah, they got their own night to themselves. Hopefully, that, some of these college football games aren't as good as they seem. Maybe I'll check out WrestleDream, but take advantage. Take advantage.
That's the positive on that. And let's talk about the whole positive. Yo todavía estoy en domingo. I'm still in my mind, in my feel good moment. I'm at Sunday, October, at that moment where Mike Santana wins the world title. TNA did a phenomenal job on the recap show on Thursday. The After the Glory show. They're going to be dark. Here's the only thing. They're going to be dark from live television or wrestling grabs for a while because they're going to do a fade to black next Thursday. I don't know, man.
I didn't get to see it because I was doing the Steelers game. So I got to go check that out. But it looks like really good and like behind. It looks like what they did with Slammiversary, that little Slammiversary recap show. Yeah, that looks like what it is. It looks like what it is. So I'm gonna check it out when I have the chance. But they did it Thursday, and my Steelers played. So maybe I should have watched that instead. I would have gotten my heart broken. But no, I like what they do. I like what they do. It gives us especially the diehards, a little bit of insight. We get to talk to these talents, but it's cool to see, the insight of how shit really goes down, the moments after. So I'm going to check it out. But, yeah, we won't see them. TNA is going to be drawing our channel for a couple weeks in terms of new wrestling to really go over. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope they, keep incorporating some people, especially Santana and NXT, to keep them, still fresh and relevant. But we'll see what happens with TNA. It just sucks that they're doing this now with Santana as the world champion. That's my only. But I think I just hope it's still fresh on people's mind, and that's the only thing I'm a little worried about.
But I'm still there. That moment, that the pictures that they posted, I love that dual picture with Mike Santana and Carlos Silver making history for nuestra cultura, nuestra gente, the Greek Rican, and I'm gonna name Santana the new Taino warrior, Mike Santana. That's awesome for him. It's still living that moment. I heard that when he came on with the interview, with Tom Hallifin and Matt Renwall, they had Mickie James talk about her induction. Eric Young stole that show. Eric Young was so hilarious, so charismatic, and so creepy with the mask and all. If you watch that After Glory, Bound for Glory was great with Eric Young. Yeah, I loved it. And Mike Santana talking about that card ride back to the from the UBS Arena after losing, and then that ride back home. The different story. That emotional connection. If you're not emotionally connected with el campeón, el capitán, el Taino warrior, Mike Santana, that's what wrestling is about. You connect because you listen to his story and the way he speaks. That's why TNA put the face of a company and a guy named Mike, because everyone relates to it. Everyone has gone through some type of form of just believing in yourself, trusting yourself, going through our own struggles and demons, letting people down and redeeming ourselves in any way, shape, or form. And we identify, and that's what wrestling does. And that's why I still am in that moment. The Dudleys, the Hardys. I mean, you could still definitely get that. You could feel that moment, that retirement, because like you said, sooner or later, we all have to be in that moment where when to hang up our boots, whether it's working as an electrician, working, playing recreational basketball, or playing little league, playing high school football or baseball, or any athletics where you got to say, I got to hang it up because I'm not going into the next level. This is it, and that's saying goodbye. And you identify those stories resonate. It captivates. Also celebrating watching a career get inducted to a Hall of Fame, like the Beautiful People, like a Mickie James, what they meant, what memories they brought. You connect. That's why Bound for Glory connected with us. It hit on every aspect because TNA did that correctly. Now we could complain about it again. 2 weeks later, I watched it again. The crowd again was not the right responsive crowd for the people. Wrong crowd. Proper results with the wrong crowd. I wish in a perfect world we'd have had the crowd from the UBS Arena at Lowell, Massachusetts. But again, that's away from our hands. And we say what's up to James Jones. Thank you so much, James. Thank you for support. Thank you for the love. Appreciate you. So TNA hurts not showing their world champion on television in a match, because the guy could go. That's the only thing that hurting Mike right now. But you have NXT. Do we see, can we see something where, I don't know, where we might see next Tuesday, Mike, somewhere, somehow. We're getting a Knockouts championship match between Jordan Grace and Kalani Jordan, Chris. And we got in Javon Evans is going to be taking on Stacks this Tuesday, but they're still teasing that Leon Slater match with Javon Evans later down the road. Kind of want to see that.
Yeah, I do too. They seem all buddy right now, but they ain't gonna last long. Again, I hope. Leon is fine, but I would like to see Santana, on NXT. But yeah, it hurts them not doing any shows, not having anything taped at least. So we're gonna have to see. I hope the hype and buzz is still here when they go back. It will be, but it's a long time before they do anything. So
it is a while. You're talking about 3 weeks to 4, possibly almost. It's a long time not seeing your world champion on there. And one way to keeping that situation hot is to put them on the CW, showcasing the world title, celebrating, or someone call them out, because they had no problem giving Trick Williams a world title against Ricky Saints immediately, which is okay, fine. He's an NXT wrestler. There was no problem with that. I need to see something with Mike Santana. Somebody call something. I don't know. And I don't know how they could get there, Chris, because I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to see which is a way of enticing a Mike Santana, and only Trick could have done that. I don't see how we could bring him into the fold. There's no. I'm trying to feel like, is there a Latin? There's no. I don't think there's a Puerto Rican representation in NXT right now that I know of, that a wrestler could kind of bully where Mike could come in and. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe a Travion Heights where they beat him down or something. But then it had to be a Trick Williams to do that. But I don't know, Chris. I'm trying to see. I hope we get to see.
I have no idea either, brother. I have no idea. I have no idea. That's why it hurts them being off TV for a little bit. So,
yes, and
yeah.
And they're teasing Tasha Steele, at least on Twitter, on X. Tasha and Kalani will be a hell of a match. I am very happy for Kalani as a champion. I think she's going to help elevate that knockout. We talked about it again. We're just rehashing here because we're going to wrap up with the show. And we want to continue that great vibe, that great high that TNA has given us in the past year, 2025. Even before that whole resurgence for TNA, changing from Impact to TNA Wrestling name, getting now the collaboration, the houses, the arenas now, like the UBS, now, with the Tonga Center. Now they're going to Dallas for their next pay-per-view. They're going to be in the Full Sail in Orlando, El Paso, to finish out the year, where they, that's a hot crowd when they were there before. Now I want to see, after Genesis, their next pay-per-view, I want to see what kind of arena and venue they're going to book, and the amount and the interest of the drawing of the fans is the last thing I want to say. And we saw this with people complaining, and I want to say, ¿por qué? I'm going to be very vulgar. ¿Por qué carajo? ¿Por qué están complaining to waiting until 4:00 in the morning to meet and greet with the Hardys when the talent are willing to stay and meet every person who wants to pay their money for meeting? And this was on a Facebook thread, and a good friend of ours, they were complaining that they shouldn't be until 4 a.m. in a meet and greet. How dare they complain?
Who was complaining?
Fans or naysayers, complainers. People want to do nothing but complain. If there are people, if the talents are willing to stay that long to meet and greet everybody that took their time to want to see them, why should someone behind a keyboard bitch and complain about it? They want to meet their fans. They don't listen. They did the same thing in Slammiversary in the UBS arena. I was on my route to the airport while the Hardys were wrapping up meeting greeting fans, because we had to catch our plane and our trains back home, and the Hardys were still in the UBS arena signing and meeting with everyone. And
that's crazy. When you told me that, I was mind blown, dude.
And they did it again.
That was insane, bro. And again, I mean, if the Hardys have no problem with it, if our good friend Amanda has no problem with it because she sets this shit up. Hey, shout out, you're a good friend of ours. We interviewed her. Good, really, really good person. It's like, if they don't have a problem, which they're great people. I just said that, so they don't. Why do you care? Like, why does anybody care? I mean, they could easily limit the meet and greets. It's like that. Hey,
they can limit it in an hour. Sorry,
exactly.
I come a little earlier. Sorry, pal. I gotta go. They stood. The fact that the Hardys or any talent decides to stay that long
after he won the world title and he had blood all, bro. I saw so many fucking pictures with Santana and his meet and greets after Bound for Glory.
And the people have the nerve to bitch about it. So when TNA decides to do this, now you got to go to TNA World and pay $70 to go to the TNA World. Doesn't mean you're going to see the wrestlers there. Then you got to pay another $300 for 5-second photo op. Then eat that then. Because right now with TNA, what they do is you buy a ticket to the venue. If you want to pay $40 or $65 for certain wrestlers, you get a meet and greet, picture opportunity, and so forth. So you're getting a great deal meeting and greeting the superstars of TNA. But when they start, but meanwhile, those same people won't put that same energy towards WWE World. Just to get in the building. Just to get in the building cost you. Doesn't mean you're going to get to meet the wrestlers. Because if you want to do that, that's a separate entity for the meet and greet. Look at Fanatics. Fanatics, our own Chef Dan had tickets. But the meet and greets, $350 for a quick second photo op. And you got to wait on Uber lines. And guess what? If you're not there on time, the wrestler leaves. By 2 o'clock, he's got to go for lunch. He got to go. TNA decides to stay until 4 in the morning with their wrestlers because they want to, not because they have to, because they want to. And then you have people online still bitching, complaining on what the talents do. Why? And then you complain, but then those are the same ones that complain about outprice me because you fucking go out there complaining about dumb, nonsensical stuff. You know, enjoy the Hardys, enjoy the wrestlers that are willing to give you their time of day and wants to appreciate your time for going out there and seeing them, and they're willing to stay there. I don't know. People just want to complain about everything, Chris, and it just gets tiresome.
No, I agree. I don't even know why people would complain about some shit like that, honestly.
But guys, enjoy the moment, enjoy the movement of professional wrestling. It's hot right now. I don't know how long wrestling is going to stay this uber hot with all the AI crap and all the changing and all this different stuff and outpricing, ticket hikes, you know, lack of television deals. You got to have all different type of streaming platforms to watch. People are just going to there's going to be a revoke. But right now, if it's on fire, your company's doing well, enjoy wrestling. Let's enjoy it. Let's continue to celebrate the art of professional wrestling. And this is the Sports Jedi Network. This is the week of wrestling, pro wrestling. We are Latino with Wrestling Voices, and we hope that you like and enjoy. Follow us on X at Sports Jedi Media, at PGH Chris TV, and all our watch along. So may the sports be with you. May your Saturday and enjoy wrestling be with you. So adios, lo vemos. Hasta la próxima. Dale like, que eso no es gratis. No sea tacaño, no sea jodón. Y lo vemos la próxima vez. Que Dios lo bendiga.
Represento las calles de